So welcome to the City Revere Conservation Commission meeting, Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. For those that want to, let's stand and salute the flag with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. All right, we'll do roll call. Robert Cassidy. Present. Heather Legier.
Here.
Joseph LaValle.
Here.
Ann Raponi is absent. John Shue's here, so we do have a quorum. First on the agenda is the review and approval of the meeting minutes from December 1st, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. All right, number 2 is an enforcement action. Getting a little bit of feedback here. For 8 and 10 Marshview Terrace. So our objective tonight as the commissioners is to review the restoration plan that was submitted. Do you guys have any comments on that? All right, so we'll take a vote on it here in a minute. Once we vote, I'm planning on sending a letter to them saying we've approved it, and we'll all sign the letter. They did ask if we could extend the due date 1 month to the end of April, because they can't get anything done right now with the grounds all frozen. So if you guys are okay with that, what I propose we vote on is approving the restoration plan as they submitted and an extension to April 30th. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. That's 4-4. All right. All right, item number 3 is a continuation of the public hearing that started in December for Sullivan Park improvements at 0 Revere Beach Boulevard, DEP file number 061-0775, I think. State your name and address for the...
Sure. My name is Skylar Chick, 1730 Massachusetts Avenue, Lexington, Mass. And I'm with Shadley Associates. So thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioners. As you mentioned, this is a continuation of the hearing for Sullivan Park from December. I'm not going to go through the whole presentation again because you were all here for that. But just to summarize, the proposal is to rehabilitate an existing park that is sorely underutilized. It has compacted soils, it's devoid of vegetation, with the exception of a few invasive species. And the Department of Conservation and Recreation is planning a pretty major investment in this park to upgrade it, add walkways, add amenities, site furnishings, a significant amount of planting, and stormwater improvements. Some of the things that came up at the last meeting was, one, we needed the DEP file number, which we now have. There was a question about some of the references in the operations and maintenance manual, and that was provided to the commission with the updates. The issue was that there were some references to the city of Revere, and those have been updated to the Department of Conservation. So the city does not have any maintenance obligations at Sullivan Park. There was also a question about the use of a diverter for the water feature. We have discussed that with the DCR, and that has been included in the project. 2 sheets were reissued, drawing C3 and drawing C8. Those illustrate in plan view the addition of the diverter. And what that does is at the water feature, there's a drainage structure in the middle of that pavement. So when the water feature is in use, which has an activator bollard, the water will come in and the discharge water will go to the sewer. Under normal situations, when the splash pad is not being used, that diverter will block that sewer and the discharge will go through the drainage system. That drain pipe goes from that diverter to bioretention area number 1, which is the same as what we had before. And that had been oversized in the design initially, so that would accommodate the stormwater that would happen to pass through the system. So that's been added to the project. There was also a question about adding signage regarding dog waste in the park. The DCR is going to include that. We are including park regulatory signage, and there will be a condition on that that'll say something to the effect of dogs must be leashed at all times, owner shall remove all pet waste. In addition to that, the project does include waste receptacles, so they will be around the site so people will have an opportunity to drop their bags in those waste receptacles. And the DCR operations staff is responsible for maintaining those. They have a brand new maintenance facility just down the street from this park, and their staff is out in that reservation on a regular basis. One other thing I wanted to bring up that was mentioned by the public at the last meeting, but is not necessarily a Conservation Commission item, is the easement for the private properties to the north, that particularly being 350 Revere Beach Boulevard. The DCR did confirm that there is no legal easement recorded that provides access through this park to that property. They did confirm that a construction access permit was issued for that property to a contractor for a very specific purpose. And a construction access permit is a temporary permit. It's not intended to be a long-term easement. If it was long-term, it would have been recorded at the Registry of Deeds. With that said, our park project does not preclude anyone from submitting an application to the DCR for a construction access permit should they need one in the future. The last piece on that is that the city does have an easement right through 320 Revere Beach Boulevard to the back side of that building.
Yep.
And that will be maintained because we are providing access for DCR maintenance staff. There will be a swing gate because we don't want the public driving in and out of the park, but the city will have access to that. And I was told by Danielle Millette, who's with the DCR, that has been discussed with the city fire department and emergency personnel. So I believe those were the items that we had discussed that we said that we would come back and provide you with responses to.
All right. So before I take any additional questions from the commissioners, is there anyone in the audience that wants to say anything for, against, about? All right, hearing nothing, so we'll go.
I don't have any questions. I think it's a good plan.
Yeah. They've addressed all the concerns. All right. So can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? All, or second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, close the public hearing?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Robert? All right, so public hearing's closed. A motion to approve this project. I did send the orders of conditions around. I didn't get any comments from you guys, so motion to approve this project.
I'll make a motion to approve this project and issue an order of conditions based on the conditions that were sent around to the members of the Conservation Commission.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so that passed 4. All right.
Thank you.
It'll take me next couple days. And we'll get that out.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great project. Oh, yeah, good. All right, great, thank you. right, next up is a notice of intent for 630 Revere Beach Boulevard, a grade change in the backyard, DEP file number 061-0777. And we'll go ahead and open up a public hearing on this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, Rick Salvo with Engineering Alliance. I'm here this evening on behalf of Marshall Lucinta, who is the owner of the subject property, as well as the applicant. As the commission's aware, this is an after-the-fact notice of intent, not completely after the fact. Work had been started. The applicant didn't realize he needed a wetlands permit. He was notified by the commission, at which point he contracted a surveyor, Audie and Dwyer, to perform a land survey of his property, identify the existing conditions, the current existing conditions, and we basically prepared a proposed design which indicates what the applicant was trying to accomplish when they started the construction. The resource areas that are present at this site are a salt marsh that's off the site to the rear of the property, as well as the 100-year floodplain. The reason for the proposed project is the way that this garage was constructed. All the stormwater for the driveway was directed into the garage. What the applicant has done, or the work that was created, was the installation of a trench drain at the garage door and a pipe system that went out to the rear yard, at which point he was contemplating the construction of a stone infiltration trench, which we've detailed over here, to allow for the infiltration of that stormwater. The yard was dug up, the spoils placed around the perimeter of the property. The work that's remaining will be connecting the pipe to the proposed stone infiltration trench, taking the spoils, folding them back into the property, reestablishing the existing grade that was there construction, and then top dressing the area with stone. So that's essentially the project. I know a few of us did have a site visit before we got pummeled with 2 feet of snow. So everyone got to see it. I did circulate some pictures a few weeks ago, for those members that couldn't get out there. So that's essentially the project. I did see the DEP did issue the file number, did not make any technical comments. So I guess with that, I'd turn it back to the commission for any questions or comments.
Okay. Commissioners?
Point of information here. Where did you get that designation of salt marsh for that back area?
We got it off Mass GIS.
It's funny because in my thinking, if the floodgates underneath the North Shore Road are working properly, that really shouldn't be inundated with salt.
No, but I mean, there's salt marsh all along that whole back stretch along there, behind the beach house, behind the land next to the beach house.
Okay.
I don't have any questions. Looks fine.
All right. All right. Is there anyone in the audience and from the public to speak for or against? I just want to say before we close the public hearing, thank you for responding. It looks great. So, motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, this hearing's closed. A motion to approve the NOI and the plan is submitted.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
Did you mention a timeline for this?
Once the weather breaks, so hopefully it's going to be March or April, but at this rate it might be May or June. But yeah, as soon as the weather breaks, then think they intend to finish it, top dress it, at which point in time we'll prepare an as-built plan and request a certificate of compliance.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great, thank you for your time.
All right, it'll take me a couple days, and then you should get that via certified mail.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Next up's number 5 is certificate of compliance for 400 Ocean Avenue. What's up? Mass DEP file number 061-0700. All right, this is just a public meeting, not a hearing, so. So I know we did a site visit. You met with Heather, Commissioner. Any concerns or anything, Heather?
No, everything looked pretty good. Katie answered all the questions that I had. Looked fine to me. Did you have any questions?
Is there anything you wanted to point out or bring up?
No.
So, I've got all up-to-date drawings. We've got the letter.
This is just a certificate of a compliance.
That's all it is, yeah.
Well, I'm happy to make a motion to approve that.
All right, a second.
Second.
I know, sorry.
Go ahead.
I know everybody's looking forward to getting the Starbucks opened.
We are, isn't it?
I hate Starbucks. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's approved.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thanks. Did you need that right away? Because if you hang around, I have it prepared, I just have to get them to sign it. Okay. All right, next up is notice of intent for 100 Lancaster Avenue, grading and landscaping. The DEP has not issued a file number yet on this. This was a result of just a notification to the homeowner that there were significant things going around and on that property, and there had been no interaction with the Conservation Commission. And once they were notified, they promptly contacted us. They have filed a notice of intent, and they're here tonight. Before I open the public hearing, did you send drawings to the DEP?
We did not, because we are still in contact with 3 landscapers, and once we do have like all of those plans, we would send the DEP the actual landscape.
Okay.
We're still figuring out what we initially really want to do, hence why we're here today, to let all of you know and to receive feedback, comments, and concerns, and any ideas you might have as well.
All right, so until the DEP gets those drawings, they will not issue a file number. And as a commission, we cannot vote to approve or unapprove. We can open up a hearing tonight, ask questions, get
Yeah.
feedback from the public, but we won't be able to vote until the DEP issues that file number.
That's fine. We just wanted to come here and talk with all of you, kind of to let you know how we are very sorry. We didn't know that we needed a permit in order to put the gravel onto the property. The only reason why we did that was to ensure the safety of ourselves and our workers. It was very slippery from the sand, and the workers would be carrying heavy stuff. Also, our dumpster swaps would sometimes slip and almost hit the home, crashing into it. So hence why we put the gravel to ensure that no one would fall, none of the dumpsters would slip or anything. If we had known, we would have filed a permit.
Do
Absolutely.
we want to open the meeting and we'll talk about
Yeah,
it?
so let's go ahead and open the public hearing. If you have any questions questions, Commissioners?
So was this a result of a complaint that we received?
It was not. So I live on that street and I walk by there all the time and and we'll talk about it later. I had noticed at 263 Rice Avenue, they have an order of conditions. I did receive a complaint about that because it was believed that that had expired.
Oh, okay.
And then looking at that, you see the house right next door, 100 Lancaster, and there's a lot of construction going on there. And there was no DEP file number posted, so that then caused me to go look into that.
So can you just describe what's happening at the property right now for the people that are watching?
So at the property right now, we are just working inside because it is too cold and the snow and everything. And so inside.
Is this a single-family home?
Yes.
Okay.
So inside the home, we are just putting in bathroom vanities, picking out sinks, the hardwood floor. We're having appliances come delivered. You know, it's very like minimal stuff that needs to be done in the home. It's just taking so much time due to certain circumstances. But we are very eager to move in the home. Nothing's been done outside.
So you're just basically bringing in materials
Yes, essentially.
and you installed rock for like traction control?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Was the basement filled in?
No, nothing's
No.
been done in the basement.
And so I had noticed in the past a lot of water coming out of there all the time. Has that been addressed during all of the construction?
Yes, so that was from the original sump pump. And the workers, they were working on the siding at that time, so it was just directed out so that it wouldn't hit them, and God forbid, no one would fall and slip because they're working on siding. But now it is going through the tube out of the home and onto our property. It's not going anywhere else now.
Mr. Chairman, I'm confused about something.
Turn your mic on, Joe.
Wasn't the garage part of the house in the first place? There was a garage there before?
Yeah, the garage is still there.
So those were on the original plans?
Yeah,
And the only difference is that you put gravel and that wasn't there before?
yeah, that's it. We
Oh.
just put some gravel onto the property. We didn't know that we needed a permit to do that.
What was the original intent of having there instead of the gravel?
It was just sand, and once the weather would warm up, we would grow grass around there, nothing else.
This is going into the garage, is that correct?
Oh, in the garage, no, the garage is just the building itself and then the pavement to drive up to the garage. Right now, it's just the pavement, there's nothing on the garage or inside the garage, maybe some wood from the siding, but we can't finish.
So the gravel is basically between the sidewalk and the foundation of the house?
Yeah, so the sidewalk is right here, and then we have a fence, and then the gravel is just along the property near from the garage to carry like some wood or anything, and to the steps of the home, and around the dumpster so that it will not slip. Because we've had some instances, because it would slip from the sand
Okay.
and almost crash.
Yep. All right, thank you.
What are your permanent plans for that area?
To move in, hopefully soon, weather permitting.
I mean, for the gravel area, are you
Oh.
gonna like remove the gravel and just keep it grass, or are you gonna planning on paving it, or?
No, we're going to remove the gravel, grow grass. We want to keep it very green and minimal. Grass all along the property, maybe some pavement along the foundation of the home, just so that we could keep away water going into the basement. But other than that, we have an existing pine tree that we love over there. We want to make it like essentially almost like a Christmas tree a little bit, and then,
So the gravel is temporary.
yes, temporary.
When do you expect to have it removed?
Um,
Like in the spring?
Springtime, I believe so. As soon as we get moving, we're trying to finish inside foremost and move in, and then focus on the outside area. Once we're moved in and settled, we feel like then we can tackle it and really get a hold of it.
Okay.
So I sent their sketch. They're not planning on changing the elevation. The only thing we would ask, consider permeable surfaces, not necessarily immediately against the foundation, but any sidewalks or things like that. When do you think you're gonna have your plans finalized?
It's hopefully, it depends on the weather again, and during these times, it is hard to get in contact with people
Yeah.
during it, but hopefully sooner rather than later.
Okay,
And as soon as we do, you will be the first person I contact.
okay. Because we'll continue the hearing. So again, I want to thank you, appreciate, she responded very quickly. Any other questions from the commissioner?
I'm just not sure which part of our plan necessitates a DEP file number.
So when I saw it, well, we can't, you can't issue an order of conditions without a file number. So we can't do a conditional.
I don't know if she's doing enough significant site work to qualify, is she?
And,
We'll find out when she provides plans.
right,
Okay,
yeah, yes, that is a possibility. When we get your plans, it's like, no harm, no foul type of thing, so.
Sorry, I also do have a question for all of you. I wanted to kind of get your comment or concerns on it. In front of our home on the sidewalk, there used to be a tree there, and over the summer, it split in two, and the city had it removed because it was splitting apart. And we were thinking that once we moved in, maybe we could add some holly trees or some nice, beautiful shrubs onto that area where the tree used to be, just so that, it looks beautiful on the street and it's aesthetically pleasing and whatnot. Of course, it would be on like our cost, but I just wanted to know if that's something that you guys would allow us to do.
is it on your property?
No, it's on the sidewalk.
So
Oh,
I
But
will,
it's the city's.
I will send you the name of the person from the city that would give you the approval or
Oh,
not.
okay,
So I will send that to you.
okay.
Okay. Is anyone here from the public that wants to speak up about this? All right. So we're going to continue the hearing. Just as soon as you get your plans, send them to us, and then
Yep.
we'll reschedule you, hopefully next month, hopefully no longer than March or April. So, good.
All right, well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
All right, next up is a notice of intent for drainage improvements on Sherman Street for the city of Revere. DEP did issue a file number for that, 061-0778. I'm going to go ahead and open up a public hearing on this. All right, state your name and address.
Good evening, my name is Paul Greco, 6 Hampshire Road in Peabody, Mass. I work for Weston Sampson Engineers. I'm here on behalf of City of Revere Water and Sewer Department. We've been hired to assist the city with design of drainage improvements on Sherman Street. Little background on Sherman Street. There's no existing drainage on the street. It's along Town Line Brook. There's a history of flooding during high tide events and also during these high intensity rain events. You get a lot of localized flooding on Sherman Street. Since there's no existing drainage on the street, it flows down to the end where there's an unpaved area where it's eroded over time, which discharges into this drainage pit at the very end of it to a concrete head wall that flows out to the Town Line Brook. So the purpose of this project, again, is to install drainage. We're proposing to install approximately 620 feet of new drainage along Sherman Street with 8 catch basins that will collect flow and direct it directly into the head wall. As part of the project, we'll be increasing the size of the outfall from 12-inch diameter to 24-inch to improve flow. The unpaved area at the end of Sherman Street will be repaired with riprap. The drainage pit at the end will be filled in, and that's the main points of the project.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Yes, how was it determined, the 24 inches, what would be necessary in this area?
The pipe size was based on modeling for the 10-year storm event. And so based on that, we determined that you would need a 24-inch pipe, and it's actually 24-inch to a point, and then 18 inches you get up towards the Walgreens there. The 10-year storm event is what we decided to design for and made the most sense. A 25-year storm event, for example, would have required upwards of a 48-inch pipe and likely wouldn't have been effective during those storm events anyways, considering the level in the brook during those events.
I know any drainage improvements are good drainage improvements. I know Weston and Sampson is a fantastic engineering outfit. And if Don Sharamella is comfortable with these plans, I am.
Yeah, I did go out and walk it down before the storm. And when you walk to the end of that street, right now it's just all eroding away into that, what is that, the county line ditch or?
Town Line Brook.
Brook. So this is going to stop that. There are some homes that are being impacted by high water, which should alleviate that. It's just kind of a step in the right way forward. So I'm all in favor of it.
I'm in favor. Do you want to make
let me close the public hearing. All right. Motion to close public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Public hearing's closed. A motion to approve the work and issue and order conditions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Carries. All right. So it'll take a couple of days
Excellent.
to get
Thank
that.
you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Next up is a notice of intent for Griswold Park, drainage improvements there also for the city of Revere. DEP file number 061-0779. These were just issued yesterday and today. So, same thing.
So, again, we've been hired by the city to design drainage improvements at Griswold Field. You're familiar with the park. After some of these more intense storm events, again, there's a significant amount of flooding that happens between the 2 baseball diamonds on the westerly side of the field. And even after the rains have stopped, it sometimes takes days for the water to drain from there, which essentially renders the fields unusable for a long stretch of time. There are some existing dry wells that were put in when the field was constructed. However, they're not very effective in reducing the flooding following the storm events. So the purpose of this project is to install 2 new catch basin structures in the space between the 2 baseball fields. We'd be connecting them with a drainage pipe that goes into a new drainage pump station that's going to be installed right behind the field house. The pump station will then pump. It'll be a 4-inch force main that will run down the sidewalk and behind the field closest to the wetlands, which will discharge then into a catch basin structure, which will overflow we'll have some riprap along the flow path, and it'll make its way into the adjacent wetlands. As far as other drainage on the site, drainage from the parking lot, there is permeable pavement on the site, and some other local drainage, all discharges to that side of the field. So the pump system will essentially be able to pump down the surface water on the fields over a 12-hour period, which will allow the fields to be used more frequently and be put back in service, hopefully within a day or so after a major storm event.
What size storm event did you design this for?
Again, this is size for the 10-year storm event.
Are the pumps underground or?
The pumps will be it's in a wet well, so it's essentially a precast manhole structure that will be in the ground with a hatch on top of it to allow access for it. There'll be 2 submersible pumps inside of the wet well, and then directly behind the building, sort of in the middle of the building, will be a control cabinet for the pump station.
So they'll be manually operated, or will they trigger, go on during a rain event?
Yeah, so inside of the wet well will be a level sensing system that once it starts raining, the surface water will get picked up by these 2 catch basins. It'll flow into the wet well, and as the water comes up, it'll automatically kick on and start pumping out. And again, the goal isn't to instantly keep up with torrential downpours. For example, a 10-year storm event, I believe, was just over 5 inches of rain within a 24-hour period. So it won't pump it out in real time, but it will pond, and then it will pump it out slowly over a 12-hour period. And again, that's to minimize the size of the pumps required and cost in this area. So it'll be a pretty small pump station system.
It uses the field and that as stormwater retention on a temporary basis, so. Any other questions from the commissioners? Any questions or comments? Katie? No? No, I think this is another good yeah. It's another good project to address stormwater and flooding issues. All right, I'm going to close this public hearing. A motion to close the hearing?
I'll make a motion to close.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that hearing's closed.
Where's Griswold Park?
Need a motion to approve this project?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes 4-0. All right,
Thank you.
good.
One question, would Commission like copies of the receipts for the
Yes.
notices?
Yeah. You can give them to Linda. All right, thanks.
Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you for coming out. All right, next up is number 9. It's a request for a partial certificate of compliance for 10 Pearl Avenue, file number 061-0750. I did go to this site and kind of wonderful tour. They're looking for a temporary certificate of occupancy. The landscaping is not complete, but the removal of the foundation from the old home and then the new foundations installed and the new home is in place, all of that work's complete. So what's not complete is the landscaping and yard, that type of stuff. So if you guys want anything to add to that?
No, that's pretty much it.
Can you state your name?
Mark Martelli, 10 Pearl Ave. And right now, it's just too cold to do the landscaping, so we have to wait for the spring.
Yeah. So this house is up on piers. They're right there against that marsh. What is that? Is that
Yeah.
Belle Isle or?
Yeah, Belle
Yeah.
Isle. Yeah.
It's kind of nice. It's up high.
Actually, I actually brought it to the chair's attention because I noticed that those substantial pilings,
Yeah, oh,
really
yeah,
something.
yeah, it took a lot of work.
Boy, a
But,
heck of a job.
now,
that-
we're not worrying about flooding anymore, so that's nice.
No, now you've got to worry about wave action in the future.
Joe was sad he couldn't come with me to see it.
Oh, yeah, I wish
I
you could have,
told
yeah.
him he'll get another chance when we do the final
We would've gave you the tour.
certificate. So it was done right. So.
Thanks.
Anyways, I would recommend that we approve a partial certificate of compliance. All the existing order of conditions still will be in effect as far as maintaining, you know, the barriers to prevent sediment erosion, you know, that type of thing.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All right.
Thank you very much.
If you guys hang around, I'll get them to sign it after the meeting and you
Okay,
can get a copy right now.
all right,
All
great.
right.
Thank you.
So next up is just kind of a discussion of the Wonderland Dog Track activity. I think I mentioned it last time. Again, they're using the parking lot at the Wonderland Dog Track. On top of the existing asphalt, they are storing materials from road work that's being done in, like, along Lee Burbank Highway. They were given permission by the city to use the site.
Who, they who,
United Civil, the contractor.
for the site?
No, they were given permission, United Civil was given permission to use that site to store fill and things from their projects going on in other places.
Oh, okay.
And so what they've done, so you'll see a pile of dirt there, the dump truck will show up, unload a pile of dirt. It's all behind Jersey barriers. There's other metal and pipes and things that are stored in there. So there've been some complaints. I've been out 3 times, and then Joe and I also went out. They have sediment catching socks on the outside of the Jersey barriers. They've blocked off the 2 stormwater drains. I went out there in the rain, and I saw no oil sheen or anything. So, but it is near, a drainage ditch. It has, wetlands, that type of thing. My question is should we ask them to submit a request for determination of applicability? Because this is temporary. They're not altering the landscape or anything. They're just storing stuff there. Or should we ask them to do a notice of intent?
Well, what makes me nervous is what are they storing there? We don't know what kind of materials that they're storing there, and if there's anything that could affect the bordering vegetated wetlands, that would be a problem. I know, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but sometimes materials get mixed up. There could be asbestos particles, things like that, that might be just settling into the ground. So that's something I think about.
So it's up on top of asphalt. So it's not in direct contact with soil.
Is it kind of away from the wetlands
Yeah.
area?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And it's inside the Jersey barriers. On the outside of the Jersey barriers are, socks to trap any runoff or anything from making it that far. Also outside of the barriers, there are 2 stormwater drains, because it's a big giant parking lot. Those stormwater drains went directly to that ditch. They've been blocked off, so nothing can go that way either.
It sounds like it doesn't qualify for anything, Don? I didn't see it. You saw it. What do you think?
As it stands right now, it's not really, can't say what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what else you can put in there.
High school.
No, I'm talking about as far as.
Right. So maybe if we do this as a commission, we ask them to submit a request for determination of applicability. They describe their work scope, all the materials they're storing there, all their mitigations that are in place, and then we look at that like that.
Did they give you a time frame it there as far as how long this project's going to?
I think it's gonna go through summer.
I like that idea.
So that way we can see, they can list the materials. Okay.
Yes,
So you guys are in favor of that?
I am. I'm in
All right.
favor.
So I'll do that.
Okay.
And then the enforcement actions, we've already discussed that. 263 Rice Avenue, their order of conditions would have expired earlier this year or last year, except because of COVID, the governor extended those types of things issued by state agencies 400 and some days. So their order is actually valid through late this year. So they're not in, they have a valid order they're working under. And then 100 Lancaster, they've submitted an NOI and they're trying to be compliant, so. Lastly, correspondence, we received just a notification of a 15-gallon diesel spill at 140 Lee Burbank. And then, I don't know if you saw in the newspaper, but the Boston Conservation Commission is looking at a submittal from the Suffolk Downs redevelopment of an outdoor entertainment venue. And we were copied with just one copy if you guys want to see what they're doing. But that's the correspondence. Is there anything else anyone wants to?
No.
All right, I need you guys to hang over so we can sign some things. All right, I'd take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting's adjourned.